In the past week, the Central Committee of the Chinese Communist Party announced that they would issue a historical resolution. It is yet to be issued, but there is no doubt that it will make Xi Jinping a god. Only two previous CCP leaders have issued such a resolution before, Mao Zedong and Deng Xiaoping. Mao's resolution established worship to him across the country. Deng's, the conditions for the country's economic reform. What about Xi's? She wants to be enshrined side by side with Mao, as is becoming increasingly obvious. What would be his exploits to admit him in the Hall of Fame? The answer is to seize Taiwan. To the Communists, Taiwan was the only part of the old republic to be conquered by them, and it was an imperfection to them, so Taiwan needed to be taken out. But now that Taiwan has become a democracy, it is a mockery to the communist regime of the mainland China. This could be a loophole in their propaganda of the supremacy of communism over democracy, and people might begin to believe that democracy may suit Chinese people since it suits Taiwan residents, who are essentially Chinese people too. Therefore, the communists are resolute to take down Taiwan. When Xi was put in the office, I had this feeling that he felt destined to fulfill this mission since Communist China had so-called stood up and grown strong. Will the Communists invade Taiwan? I would say yes, definitely. And Mr. Xi Jinping is obsessed with it. According to a deflected colonel of Communist Army, Mr. Yao Cheng, Xi could have been placed in the office by Deng and his fellow elders, who had been essentially the leadership of the party for the purpose of claiming Taiwan. Perhaps, I should rephrase the question. Now the 6th plenary session of the 19th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China has been held this week. This means Xi has gained upper hand over his opposing fraction of the party. Is it the time to invade Taiwan soon? Actually, the Communists have been invading Taiwan, but through the so-called unrestricted warfare, basically warfare without bottom line. They use bribery to corrupt the high-ranking generals in the Taiwanese military and governments, put up their own agent to run election, and compromise the international relationships of Taiwan, meaning to break the will of the Taiwanese people to fight or to defend. So the question should be changed to, will the Communists invade Taiwan in a hot war soon? I'm afraid that this question can't be answered easily. Probably, they are planning to do so. Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, posted a Chinese ancient poem, with the title of Humankind. It goes, "Beans are cooked on a fire of beanstalks, the beans are weeping in the pot. Growing in the same root, why are they so eager to fry one another?" Humankind. What does it mean? Does he mean CCP and Taiwan? The original title is Seven-Step Poem, suggesting it was composed in 7 footsteps. Its author Cao Ji was a prince in the Three Kingdoms period, 1,800 years ago. His crowned brother Cao Pi felt threatened by him and decided to kill him unless he could write a poem in 7 strides. This type of ancient poem has strict rules on the pronunciation and intonation of the characters, and so was difficult to make. No one had done this in just 7 strides before, according to the known records. But Cao Ji accomplished the task and saved his own life. The poem itself coincided with his situation. So this means that the brothers are fighting each other. Did Mr. Musk want to dissuade the communists from invading Taiwan? Both Taiwanese people and the Chinese communists are Chinese people. Having waited so long, I haven't found other meanings for this poem. But nor is this conclusive. Coincidentally, the internet users managed to find a footage of Jiang Zemin quoting this poem, a former leader on Taiwan's so-called independence. Behold.
幸亏我这个人喜欢诗词，你大概用的曹植的这首诗啊。煮豆燃豆萁，豆在釜中泣。本是同根生，相煎何太急。就我的理解，就是你如果是要搞台独，这个问题就意味着相煎何太急。你什么道理呢？你不是本是同根生嘛，对不对？我这是一个乐观主义的，我相信这么一个伟大的中华民族，啊，最终肯定我们也会统一。中国人民是从来是不信邪的。
But meanwhile, people witnessed this. The location was not certain, but it was in China. A column of trucks are transporting armored vehicles. People in other cities also uploaded videos of missiles and the same type of chariots being transported by trucks and trains in provinces Zhejiang, Henan and so on. Seemingly, they are all going towards Fujian province, which is across the Taiwan Strait. Now we can draw the conclusion that the communists will not invade Taiwan right away because they would have to do it secretly so as to achieve a surprising attack on Taiwan before allies come to aid. If any ally arrives, the communists fail for good. So they will not mobilize an army in broad daylight. At last, let's see an interesting video. This armored chariot ran into a pig transporting truck. No, they will not invade Taiwan in the near future, I am sure. But in a long term, yes. Secrecy and surprise play a key role landing in Taiwan, whose military power is not weak. But mobilizing a large invading force in secrecy is a great challenge. A solution is to transport it during the national break when there are huge populations moving around the nation. Or there is an alternative, which is to run massive transportation of armament and alert people on purpose and disappoint them and do so over and over again so people are tired of being wary and then they have offensive. The only reason the communists don't launch an attack is that the US would intervene. Should they find enough weakness or unwillingness in US, they will attack for sure. Nowadays, the communists have successfully launched supersonic missiles, which are improbable to stop, and they are meant to scare off Americans. The good news is that if Taiwan falls, US is in the striking range of the nuclear submarine of the communists, so to their own interest, they have to defend. Since both US and China have nuclear weapons, it is not likely to start a war between them, just like USSR and US. But it is hard to say whether one man will be crazy enough to break the nuclear equilibrium. It depends on whether US is resolute to defend. It also depends on one sole person. If he is as crazy as Hitler, he will wage a full-scale war on Taiwan when the timing is right, which might eventually lead to nuclear disasters. Thank you for watching.